This show is sponsored by ODYS Global. Make sure that you do sign up and get a free $100 bonus by checking out ODYS Global's Age Domains or Done For You affiliate websites.
Hi guys, and welcome to episode 40 of SEO Tales, where again myself and Itamar are going to be talking about a few different things when it comes to comments when you put your face out there on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever. And we all get comments, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Before we do go into that, just make sure you do give the channel a like and subscribe. Also give Itamar a bit of love in his channel. Just look for Itamar Blauer, B-L-A-U-E-R, if you can't understand that accent. But Itamar, today's topic, comments when you put yourself out there. So I'm going to kick it off. I didn't know last week that I knew of the Daily Mail article. It was going out, obviously. Someone in that does a bit of PR for me had submitted that, and you came to me. It was like 1 a.m. Hey, dude, have you seen this? And see myself, with the Nigel Farage story, which I'm sure many of you can go and see. The link will be below if you're interested in being nosy. And then it was just look at the comments; they're a bit fucking salty, and I took a barrage of abuse, as you do when you put yourself out there. And that's obviously the topic we're going to be discussing today. People just making comments when you become, I don't want to sit and say a public figure or make out like anyone's something they're not. But when you put your face out there, it does seem to cop a bit of stick. It's certainly with my face anyway, so you get stick for it. So Itamar, you obviously highlighted that to me, and you're like, geez, dude, what's going on there? So you've seen it firsthand, from my personal experience. You brought it to my attention. So what's your view on it, from an outsider looking in?
Yeah, I think, the difficulty you have on the internet is that everybody has to have an opinion about something. And it's just, the internet being such a great facilitator of people's opinions in a very, a very easy way where you don't need to necessarily identify yourself. You can create fake accounts or, be completely kind of incognito, like nobody knows who you are, and make comments. But I think, it's just one of those things. I feel like a lot of, hate can be found everywhere. And I think that one was particularly on like a Daily Mail article. But you see this stuff a lot of times on YouTube as well, where sometimes it's not even just comments that you get, it's like actions. So sometimes if someone's disliking a video for the sake of it, maybe just because they don't like you as a person or whatever the reason might be. But, hate exists, and it's part of society. It's part of the world. Why are there wars? Because one side hates another side, right? So, hate's always been a part of, I guess, human nature to some degree. But, I feel like in your case with that article, I'm kind of reading it, and it part of it, it's like comical in the sense, because it's like there's no, what you'll find as well sometimes about hate is that people don't sometimes hate the things that you do. They're more just hating on you as a person, which is it's really interesting. Reading comments about people taking the mick out of you, but they're not even addressing the whole purpose of what that article was about. And it exists in so many forms, and I feel like as well, even for myself, doing YouTube back in the day where I had different channels on like technology, I had a channel on gaming, had a channel on sports coaching, in some of those I got hate. And I think you see that more in the kind of gaming niche. I feel like that's just because there's more kind of kids on there, and kids just talk and they love, I don't know, they get a high out of just commenting or talking crap about people. But to see that kind of stuff and this is what makes it quite funny to me, because it's like seeing that kind of stuff on that article where, you know, it's not going to be teenagers reading that article. These are adults, right? Most likely. And to hear that coming out of adults' mouths, it's like, wow, like it really opens your eye a little bit.
It's bizarre. I mean, listen, it doesn't just happen in the gaming niche or to SEO guys. Like, look at Lewis Hamilton, for example. The guy has won the world championship 7 times, and the abuse that guy takes is unbelievable. What does someone have to do to not be criticised online? And as you say, it's not what you do winning the world championship or you know, doing a thing with Nigel Farage's domain name or whatever you may do, or you know, you playing a game or beating a guy at a game or whatever it might be. The hate doesn't come from that. People just feel like having a pot shot at another person. You know, and especially with the Daily Mail thing, you know, people are slaughtering me personally now. The thing that baffles me with it is these guys don't know me from Adam. They don't know the purpose of that domain name. Now, look at some of the comments, right? So you've got the one saying, this bastard should go out a jog. This guy eats too much Greggs, blah, 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 blah. Fair dues. You know, I carry a bit of extra timber, have that pot shot. However, these guys are saying Sado in his basement. Who the hell would register this guy's domain when he's no longer an MEP and stuff like that? Now, these guys are just uneducated. What these guys didn't realise was that Nigel Farage let that domain name go 3 years ago when he was at the height of his powers as an MEP. It was a glaring mistake on his team's part to let that domain name go, and I am educating and highlighting that via a public source. I don't sit in a basement. And obviously people within the SEO industry will laugh at it and say, oh, fair play, Craig, look at this, look at that. It's a bit of fun and a bit of education at the same time. But these guys are saying, like, I'm the Sado in a basement registered in domain names. Who is the Sado really? Sitting in a basement reading the Daily Mail and making comments about people. You know, that's the way I look at it. And you know, guys that I've never met in my life, guys that have never spoken to me, guys that don't understand the purpose of that article are just going, there's a guy carrying a bit of extra weight, he's Scottish, whatever, let's just ladle into him for everything. And you know, as I say, that's not just to me. Lewis Hamilton can win 7 world championships and people will still lay into the guy, you know, on his appearance or on his hairline or, you know, whatever. You know, there's always, or you know, whatever. And, you know, no one is the perfect human being. You know, someone will carry extra weight. Someone may be baldy. Someone may have curly hair like you. So it doesn't matter what you do. You know, someone will go out there and say, look at that curly hair, you know, dick or something like that. You know, that is just in people's nature. And I think that reverts back to what we were talking about last week. You know, people can be anonymous with this stuff. You can set up an account and you look at them all and it's all people with fake names. No one's actually got the guts to come up and say, you are a prick or you're this or that. They do it from a fake account with a fake head, with a stupid ass name. And that is the sad thing. And I think that's where social media have a responsibility to clamp down on that, because, you know, it's very easy for you or I to go and set this stuff up and do it. But why would you take time out of your day to go and slam another person that you don't know, don't have any interest in? Like, I could go to the Daily Mail and look at 10 articles that have been posted today and just start ladling into people. But I've got a job, I've got a life, I've got things to record, I want to lie down and have a siesta. You know, there's a million things I can do that are a lot better than that. So why do people do it? I'm not sure. You know, if people are just sad inside, you know, sad with their own lives, and they try and vent that anger and frustration to other people. But it's a bizarre one. It really is.
Yeah, I think, but this is the kind of thing that anyone who's going to be out there on the internet using their full name, you know, being themselves essentially. And that's the interesting thing is, I think And you were mentioning social media and how easy it is for people to kind of portray an image of themselves, or like a desired image that really has nothing to do with their actual self. So that's the danger of it sometimes. And I feel like people are going too into this kind of fantasy and all this perfection and stuff like that, when in reality, you know, the real world is nothing like that. Because as you say, no one is going to be perfect. But I think, you know, if you're somebody, and let's kind of tailor this more into the SEO industry. If you're an SEO and you put yourself out there, and let's say you make appearances on webinars or you do YouTube video stuff, you know, there are chances that some people, even within this industry, can still have goes at people. And I've seen it before. I've seen it before on Twitter. I've seen it before on Facebook. So it's the kind of thing that I feel like you should be prepared for. If you are the person who wants to, I suppose, be more public with the kind of stuff that you do in this industry in general. But, you know, it's not to say that this industry is terrible. You know, there's great people in this industry, but I think no matter what industry you're in, there are going to be some bad eggs who, you know, will just do the crap that we were kind of highlighting before. And I think it's just something that, as a content creator, as somebody who is out there online, you know, that just, it comes with the turf, really. And sometimes there is nothing you can do. The good thing is, at least if you, for example, you're creating YouTube videos and you want to at least moderate your comments, you can set, for example, comments that have to be manually approved beforehand. The same thing on your website and stuff like that. And, you know, you'll have a lot of unsolicited crap sometimes as well. Like if you're out there, for example, my LinkedIn gets spammed. I'm sure yours does too. You know, with people who like try and sell the guest posts, or people who want stuff for free from you and all that kind of rubbish. And it's just something you have to deal with. I don't think there's a way of getting out of that. But, you know, it's just part of the game, essentially.
Yeah, I think it's just something you have to grin and bear. I know a lot of guys, or not just guys, girls and everything in this industry, that are scared to go on YouTube or do a podcast because they don't want the stuff they see. Now, obviously, for me on Facebook, I show people it, not to, sometimes it's to let off steam, but also just to show other people what crap you have to put up with, just so that they understand sometimes, you know, where you can become frustrated. But in all honesty, you know, there's a lot more positives than negatives in putting your name out there. A lot more. You know, I've met some amazing people in this industry. You know, been to some fantastic countries, been fortunate enough to speak at some great events, and all of these opportunities all come from putting my face out there. And if I didn't put my face out there, I wouldn't have had these opportunities and to make some good friends across the world, and doing what I do. I think obviously there's a small percentage where you get that kind of negativity and a bit of a bashing. But equally, when you go out there, there's so many people that want to shake your hand, say thank you, you know, appreciating the advice or the videos you do. So, you know, we don't always talk about that, but that does happen a lot. And again, it's not to our industry, but even industry people like Alida Solis, who's been speaking for years and years and years. You know, she gets it, and she's the nicest woman in the world who, you know, wouldn't really say boo to I mean, I wouldn't mess around with her, but, you know, she's the quietest person, always dead cheery. She cops it. And as I say, out with her industry, people cop it all the time. Celebrities cop it, journalists cop it, politicians cop it, TV stars, whatever. Everyone cops it. And I think it's just something, regardless of what you do, if you put yourself on a pedestal, people will want to knock you down. And for some reason, it's a UK thing. They like to build people up and then knock them down and stuff like that. And I think that can be very discouraging for people who want to speak at conferences and stuff like that. But I would certainly encourage anyone to see past that. I mean, it's very frustrating to read people saying things about you, and some of the things can be hurtful and stuff like that, depending on who you are. You know, it can affect you in a number of different ways, but I think you just have to think about the overall bigger picture. People are just sadly, for me, it's quite easy for me to switch off from it. I don't really care, in all honesty, what someone who doesn't know me thinks of me. Like, the only people I care about are the friends and family and people that I built relationships with. I have no interest in making the whole world like me. And, if I make 3% of the digital marketing community like what I do, then I'm winning. I'm not into, 97% of people can say I'm this, I'm that, I'm, garbage, whatever. So what? As long as I've got 3% of the industry, I will make a lot of money. And that's the way you have to look at it. No one is liked by everyone. No one. And I mean no one. No, David Beckham, he has his haters, even, Hollywood stars, all of that kind of stuff. No matter where you go, there's always going to be someone get something to say. And I think that's just, I don't know, just society, really. And of course, you mentioned that you get bombarded in other social media channels as well if you put your name out there on, LinkedIn, people selling you stuff, people wanting advice and all that stuff. Again, there's ways to work around that. And on social media, I don't really reply to everyone. I'll do a templated reply, or I've got someone who kind of looks over my social media. So if someone asks me a question, the whole purpose of me doing a whole lot of videos is I can refer people back to those videos. So if someone says, Craig, can you tell me more about affiliate marketing? Right, here's some, I've got like this intranet of stuff where I can basically just send people to certain sections of my website or to my YouTube. But there's a templated reply because I can't personally answer all of these things every day. That's the workaround, and it still works to my advantage because I'm driving people to my YouTube or my website or whatever it may be, and people are still getting value from that. So there's always a workaround, but obviously, as I say, when you put your face out there, more of everything happens. You make more money, you also get more questions, you get more trolls, you get more negative stuff and whatever. But as I say, the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. So think of it that way, guys. It can be very frustrating. I had my brother-in-law looking at the Daily Mail article, and he's like, Jesus, man, he says, the people in there are pretty aggressive. He says, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to make an account and I'm just going to dish it all back out to them. And I'm like, dude, don't waste your time. Like, what's the point? But, I've got other relatives and stuff that it probably hurts them more than me. But the way I look at it is my name that's in the Daily Mail. It's my name that's in that article. And it's these kind of little trolls that are in the comments wasting their time. And what they don't realize is that actually helps that article rank more and get seen by more people the more they comment. So indirectly, they're doing me a favor, which I think is quite funny. Things happen for a reason in life, and when these guys are hating on you, they don't realize it's actually helping you. So comment, whether it's calling me a fat bastard or whatever, that actually helps my exposure. So, fair play. And that's the way I've got a kind of grounded look on it now. Listen, years ago, I used to be volatile as hell. I'd go on and call people out, and anyone said anything about me, I'd be on there and slating them and getting on their Facebooks and telling everyone what a tosser they were and stuff like that. But just why do that? I could go and spend an hour playing with my kid and playing with his Action Man. I get more fun out of that than I would spend an hour wasting my time on some douchebag that, whatever, left a dodgy comment. So I think that's where you have to look at it. Just calm down and just understand that it happens to the best of us. As I say, a leader in our industry cops her fair share of stick, and many others do as well in the industry. So it is what it is. It's fun though.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way to sum it up. I think, yeah, if you do want to be that person that puts your name out there, your face out there, you know, expect some hate, but at the end of the day, even if people are hating on you on YouTube or stuff like that, it's still engagement. So, you know, as a digital marketer, you will know that what they're doing is indirectly helping you in a way that they don't quite understand. So yeah, I think we can finish it off there. But thanks so much for watching this video. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to both our channels. That would really help us both out. And yeah, we'll see you next week.